months pregnant, 3.5 months pregnant, and my husband. And I've been at R2D2 for almost about roughly 2.5 years now, out a lot. They've provided women, men, couples to come in with warm, safe shelter that they provide food if they have it. What they want from that, they want us to come get off the streets, where they're not in the doorways where the police are rousing them up every morning. And
you're doing fine. Keep going. Or take your time.
We've made a lot of accomplishments. We've got people off the street in this city. And me and my husband are looking into getting into some housing soon for me, the baby, and the dad. And I've come a long way since I've been in R2D2 Debate. And I appreciate you guys for what you're doing. I just hope you guys keep it up. You guys are, I love the help. I love my members of R2D2. I even love my husband. I adore R2D2.
You're all right. You're good. You're good. Thank you. Go ahead.
God bless you.
My name is David August, City Mayor and Commissioners. As a citizen living in downtown Portland, I am very concerned about how the Right to Dream process issue is being handled. And I'd like to give some historical perspective to this if I can. And Commissioner Fritz, I would like to refer to a statement that you made in 2008, and I'm quoting, "You need a conditional use permit to allow large numbers of people to congregate to sleep at night." And I'm going to hand that statement in for the record. And you continued, and I quote once again, "I'd like the committees working on this issue to propose amendments to the anti-camping ordinance to address this need." End of quote. And once again, you stated in 2008 that one would need an amendment to the anti-camping ordinance to permit camping like the type of camping is being considered here. Since that time, to my knowledge, no effort has been made to amend the code and define the circumstances and conditions under which this would be allowed. As a good example, unlike what we have here, and I will hand in this document for the record, when the city made an exception to the anti-camping ordinance in March of 2008 to allow a 24-hour exception along the Rose Parade route, the city adopted a new code section, made rules, had a deliberate public process with an ordinance before City Council. The discussion and decision on this very important matter should not take place under the threat of lawsuits, either from Right to Dream, and its landlord, nor the affected parties in the proposed relocation area. Notwithstanding the good work that Right to Dream 2 has done, and I haven't heard anyone in this room say anything about the standing of getting rid of it, and not a single person, I've been here since 2 o'clock, but I would urge City Council to delay voting on this issue until a reasonable solution is presented. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Good evening and welcome.
Hi, Confucian, Mayor Delch and Manfred. Thanks for attending in this. It's been good to hear all the discussion. It's really important to, when people are in conflict, to recognize everybody's really passionate about their homes, and they're passionate about their neighborhoods, and passionate about how they're living and their lives. One of the startling things is to realize people still do not understand that there is not a solution, that people have been doing 10 years of trying to find a solution to homelessness, and it's not been found. It's been growing and growing. And I feel that we're still leaving up to experts to fix it, instead of the community to fix it. Unless here, looking into the Old Testament, it talks about hospitality as a service. If you're a Christian or Muslim or Israelite, it's like you serve and you're a hospitality to the strangers. And our society has forgotten that. As to people really being upset about not having that dialogue in Pearl District, I want to say this is an opportunity to have campers in your neighborhood and have dialogue, real dialogue. Homeless people do not have a voice if they're in shelters or if they're on the streets. Where is their voice? R2D2 has organized people so they can have a voice. People have organized themselves to be clean and safe, and they are having a voice. They're up here speaking before you. This is a real golden moment for a municipality. I hear that the Pearl District has a history of doing dialogue and doing planning for the neighborhood. There's a possibility that the Pearl District could solve this problem with R2D2 talking, with negotiations here. And I recommend you, I haven't had a chance to tell you, Mayor Harold, I saw you switch up the heads of all the different departments. I see you trying to undo the siloing. That's an epidemic of our society. People don't understand other aspects of other people's lives, or other people's struggles, or other aspects of how our community works. People who live in houses do not understand the struggles of people who do not have a house. It's plain and simple, it's not understood. And instead of trying to understand and find a place of dialogue, people are treated as wards, dependents, people who are just too messed up to have a voice. And historically here, and there's a lot of different working towards, once you have conversation, you have the same vocabulary, you have a bridge of communication and understanding, solutions are found. So I really suggest all the people in the business district there, get creative. You have to get out of just making money. It's so-called social responsibility. That's another new tag in business world, as well as green sustainable. It's all about social justice. Let Portland be the first person that said, yes, in my backyard, yes, there are homeless people, and we're going to take it.
Thank you.
My name is Melissa Orson. This is James, and I'm going to lean a little bit away from the microphone. I can tell you right to drive all the today work. Not just because of my words, but what I'm holding right now. He is my reason for telling me Right to Dream 2 works. We were homeless for 6 months. I was 4 months pregnant when we got our housing. We got our housing and we got a job. During that time, it was hell being on the streets being pregnant. The food sucked. Being pregnant, might want food once in a while. The members gave us food. They were willing to help. Even now, we take our son down there to see the Right to Dream 2 people. We visit nearly every week. I trust my son with them. That tells you they're safe. And like I said, it works. They help everybody. They love my son as if he's their own. He's got so many aunts and uncles there that I don't even think he knows who's who anymore. And it's a great community. You heard there are pregnant women now, and they're the future. They're going to have the same thing about getting cats. And this also is the proof also for the future, for the potential houselessness, because no matter what, it's always going to be there, even in his future. And he's going to have a right to dream too, to say, I can help be an advocate for you, I can help you, because he's seen it. He hasn't had to deal with it, he hasn't had to live it, but he's seen it. And that alone will help our future more than anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben Marston. The name is Rico J. Alisa Faye. Greg Margolis. Lockley. Mark Hoffheim. Eric Williams. Veronica Bernier.
Good evening. Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
My name is Lisa Fay, and I want to thank you, Mayor Hales, Commissioner Fritz, Mr. Novak, Dan Sussman. You all have stepped up and put your best foot forward with Right to Dream 2. You've watched over the last 2 years as we've cultivated and erected a community of safety for the houseless community. We have used this time and our efforts to put people back to work, to get people into housing, to create a safer community around the area of 4th and Burnside. We're looking forward to the next year and the challenges it faces, and we welcome all input from the Pearl District, and we're looking forward to moving ahead and continuing our relationship with the city. And we hope that in the future we can come together and find a more permanent solution to houselessness. In the meantime, please consider Rapid Dream 2 as a first step. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Eric Williams, and I'm a native Oregonian. I've lived in the Pearl District for about 8 years. And when I bought my condo, if I would have looked at the land use designations in the neighborhood, I would never have any clue that a tented camp would be a permitted use. And I think no developer that was developing on the north end of the Pearl District, as we've heard testimony from today, would think that a tented camp would be a permitted or even a conditional use. In fact, there's ordinances that the city has against public camping. So what I think we have here, a lot of here today, is a lot of intellectual dishonesty. There's people that are trying to refer to this homeless camp as a rest area. And I've heard some people in the peanut gallery chiming in that it's a rest area, it's a rest area. You can call it a rest area if you want, but anyone who would go and visit the camp and would look at it, and you said, what is this? Is this a rest area? People would say it's a camp. So it's intellectually dishonest to call it otherwise. I have a suggestion to make, and that is that I reviewed the report that the Bureau of Development Services wrote and looked at it and reviewed the code with that. And again, I find that intellectually dishonest. And I would suggest that maybe you should partner with the Pearl District Neighborhood Association or one of the developers and find a private land use attorney or a planner that doesn't have a dog in the fight, that's in a different jurisdiction, have them review the city's zoning code and also the proposed use and see what they think. And I suspect that they will not come to the same conclusion that the Director of Bureau of Development Services has come to. The other issue that I would like to talk about is crime. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, crime has declined in the area, and there's not a problem with crime on the site. And while I don't disbelieve that there's not crime on the site itself, there's a GIS information system the city has that all crime is reported. And you can look at it very granularly. You can look at it within 0.05 miles of a particular location. And if you do that, 0.05 miles is about 1 block. It's actually less than a block. And if you look at that, there's about close to 1,200% more crime near the current R2D2 camp than there would be in the location that's proposed to move to. So, I'm questioning stats on crime, and I know Commissioner Fritz said, well, it's declined since the R2D2 camp went in, and you can't look at it as granularly when you go back multiple years on your system, but you can look at the neighborhood crime stats by neighborhood, and you'll see that the crime stats on an average monthly basis are about flat. There's really no change, and you can look at that information yourself. So I guess the thing that I find disturbing is that it seems like there's not a lot of honest solutions here. And people talk about, well, we don't really have a solution, a permanent solution. I look at things like the Bud Clark Commons. That's a beautiful building. It's a Taj Mahal. The thing that's interesting about the...
Sorry, let him speak, and then you need to finish up.
The Bud Clark Commons has 90 dormitory beds. It has 130 units. And the average size of the units is, well, it's around 400 square feet. About 6 blocks west of that, there's the Freedom Center on 14th. It's a market rate set of apartments. The units are as small as 267 square feet. If the city would have just reduced the size of the living units in Bud Clark Commons, they could achieve not a couple hundred, probably 100 more living units than they got out of the $50 million Bud Clark Commons. So I just think that the city's not really being honest with the way they're going about the process, and I encourage you not to approve it, or at least to extend it and give it greater consideration.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Rico Jones. I was here about a month ago, kind of told you all to step up and get out, get Oregonians. You know, I'm Oregonian. So I think for me, you guys have been doing a good job. I've been working hard. I think you've been doing what I asked you to do. I think what I said you took, serious. So, I mean, I think right thing to do is great. They've helped a lot of people, myself and others. But I think this new, us moving over there was beneficial for the house list and stuff like that. And I just want to say you guys are doing a good job, and thank you very much for looking out for us.
Thank you.
And the house list.
Thanks for coming.
Hey guys, how you doing? Mark Day, I'm Junior, founder of United Coalition Against Repression for Equality. Do you care? Thank you, Council Member Fritz, by the way, for being the only member to ever respond to any of my emails. God be with us all. And let me remind you that the money that or tender that you all carry also says, "In God we trust." Well, do you? Do you care? Your credibility is really, I'll be honest with you, sucks. Stop sending your thugs after, especially like the Morrison Bridge, which is all over the internet, all over the media. Good example. I've been here before you met repeatedly, yet we still keep getting involved in it. We're nonviolent. We're only violent by the